I'd like us to think of one of the hottest summer days you've ever experienced. A brutally hot day, a deathly hot day. The humidity and heat mixing together, causing exhaustion and probably even a heat stroke. If you've done anything even mildly exerting on a hot day, you would know that the single most valuable possession is your water bottle. There is no relief like the first ice cold gulp of liquid heaven pouring into your dry and dehydrated throat. The Bible says that marriage is designed to be refreshing like that first ice cold sip of water. Look at what the wise man says in Proverbs 5. Drink water from your own cistern, running from your own well. Should your springs overflow in the streets, your streams of water in the public squares, let them be yours alone, never to be shared with strangers. May your fountain be blessed, and may you rejoice in the wife of your youth. A loving doe, a graceful deer, may her breasts satisfy you always. May you ever be captivated by her love. Proverbs 5 is a warning from a father to his son. In his wisdom, the father knows all of our marital problems start when the water bottles that are not ours start to look more refreshing, more appealing, and more attractive than our own. You begin to notice how attractive and curvy and fun your neighbor's wife is. You start to notice how smart and witty your co-worker's husband is. Discontentment creeps in. Why isn't my wife as loving and kind as her? Why isn't my husband as reliable and good with kids as he is? And anticipating this kind of discontentment, the Proverbs 5 passage continues. Why be captivated by my son by an adulteress? Why embrace the bosom of another man's wife? For a man's ways are in full view of the Lord, and he examines all his paths. The evil deeds of a wicked man ensnare him. The cords of his sin hold him fast. He will die for a lack of discipline, led astray by his own great folly. In other words, these wise words in the book of Proverbs is teaching us not to fall into the pit of discontentment. Don't make a hobby out of checking out people who aren't your spouse. That's the words of wisdom in this Proverbs. Don't fall for the lie that the grass is greener on the other side of the fence. It's folly, Proverbs is saying. The Bible says we're acting like fools when we believe the lie that someone else will satisfy us in all the ways that our spouse fails to satisfy us. If people change over time, it is wise to note that marriage requires learning to love and falling in love with the same person over and over again. This can't happen if you are expecting and demanding our current or even a future spouse to be perfectly compatible. We will never acquire the grace to want to get to know them and love them regardless of their changing strengths and weaknesses, changing perfections and flaws. Believing that a perfect soulmate exists who could perfectly fulfill us in every way leads us to chase fantasies. It's a useless pursuit that promises joy but only brings bitterness, only brings discontentment. If we will ever find full contentment, we will have to stop looking for it in our spouse or even hoping to find it in a potential spouse. Contentment is found in Jesus, not in a spouse. This cistern language that Solomon uses in Proverbs 5 is a similar cistern language used in Jeremiah. When God is talking about the sins of his people, God describes the sins of his people as adultery as a metaphor. He is saying that the heart in both is the same. When a person commits adultery, they first become discontented with their spouse for some reason and then look to another person to satisfy what they perceive as their unmet need. Our hearts follow the exact pattern every time we sin. First, we believe that in some way God is unable to meet our needs. Secondly, we seek after joy and peace and pleasure and satisfaction from a source outside of God. That is what God is saying in Jeremiah. First, you left my living fountain of flowing water, and second, you try to dig cisterns for yourself that cannot satisfy. As long as we are pursuing satisfaction from broken cisterns, we will be only chasing fantasies. We will never find contentment that we're looking for, because true contentment is only found in the source of all contentment. That is Jesus Christ. When we recognize that God is the living source of all contentment, and when we are receiving our satisfaction from God and God alone, that's when we begin to find true freedom. I hope this is blessed.